Hi friends, Ebony here with Family Travel Adventures LLC. This summer, my family and I went on a 9-night Norwegian gem Greek Isles cruise and had the vacation of a lifetime. Our adventure began in Athens, where we had a day and a half to explore the ancient city. Our hotel was centrally located, so after dropping off our bags, we went in search of a delicious seafood meal, one of many on this trip. After some exploration, the teens crashed back at the hotel, but the Famtrav husband and I took the metro to the Acropolis to get the lay of the land. Bright and early the next morning, with tickets purchased in advance, the four of us headed back to the Acropolis for a self-guided tour. It was a little surreal soaking in the history. Here's a fun fact. The Nashville Parthenon in Nashville, Tennessee, where we live, is an exact replica of the Athenian original, complete with a 42-foot statue of Athena, just as it was in ancient Greece. Once you leave the Acropolis Museum is a great follow-up. Our biggest tip is to do these two activities first thing in the morning, as the summer crowds can be brutal. Within walking distance is Hadrian's Arch, Temple of Zeus, and Zappeion Gardens. I explained the historical significance of these in my blog post. After another amazing meal, it was finally time to board the ship. The Norwegian Gem is a mid-sized ship accommodating up to 2,394 guests. It's large enough to be filled with family-friendly activities, but small enough so you don't feel overwhelmed. This itinerary was especially appealing as it was port-heavy, included multiple countries on this Greek Isles sailing. First up was Santorini. Getting off the ship here is a challenge, especially if there are multiple ships in port. Remember, this is an ancient city ill-equipped to handle thousands of daily visitors. One of the major haven benefits is priority disembarkation. In Santorini, guests are tendered to the base of the volcano. To get up to the top, you must ride the cable car or a donkey or walk. We chose cable car. Once you finally get to the top and clear the crowd, the city is a dream. We booked a private island tour that covered the highlights and ended at a beach club so we could see a black sand beach. Instagrammable spots include the Three Bells of Fira, Blue Domes of Ia, numerous windmills throughout the island, the vantage point from Prophet Elias Monastery, which is the highest point on the island, and views of the caldera from the Santorini lighthouse. By the way, we bought olive oil from multiple cities on this trip, all excellent, but the Monk's is the best. The line for the cable car was ridiculously long to get back to the ship, so we opted for the donkeys. 0 out of 10, do not recommend.
That's where I want to go. And this is the route to get there. And it zigzags up and down. And I still have a very long way to go.
Mykonos is another tender port, but much easier to access than Santorini. The iconic white structures lining the coast are just beautiful. Once we got on the island, we ended up taking another ferry to the island of Delos. a UNESCO World Heritage Site, for a history lesson in Greek mythology and architecture. Our archaeologist guide walked us through the ruins and brought the history to life, quite literally, with the help of 3D technology. When the tour concluded, the teens headed back to the ship, while the femme trav husband and I hung back in Mykonos. After enjoying a delicious seaside lunch, we decided to explore the island on foot. It is so picturesque. Collectively, Zakynthos was our favorite port. We had another private tour, this one by land and sea. Shipwreck Beach is so stunning. We hiked for an aerial view, and then we were able to get up close by boat. Behold, teenagers in the wild. Shipwreck Beach is closed due to the risk of landslides, but you are able to approach by boat for pictures. Afterward, we found a nearby private beach to swim, and then we got to check out the blue caves. Check out my blog post linked below to learn why the caves appear blue. On all of our private tours, we appreciated that the guides were so accommodating of everyone's interests and made an effort to entertain the teens and make them feel engaged. Corfu. This was the halfway point in our trip, and as anticipated, I knew we'd need an easy day. It rained most of the morning, so we decided to sleep in. Then we rented a car at the port and drove to Sadari for a beach afternoon. Short and sweet. And if I haven't mentioned it already, the sunsets at each port were spectacular. Kotor began the Adriatic Sea portion of our cruise. You can see the difference in the geography immediately. Here we explored the Bay of Kotor. Highlights include defunct submarine tunnels, Mamula Island, former prison turned luxury retreat, more blue caves, and Our Lady of the Rocks. Once again, when the tour ended, the kids headed back to the ship, and the Famtrav husband and I stayed ashore to have lunch and explore Old Town. I must say, Kotor was a pleasant surprise. In Dubrovnik, we had a private Game of Thrones tour lined up. Having never seen the show or read the books, the teens decided to sit this one out and have their own day of fun on the ship, going from activity to activity. The old city of Dubrovnik is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's easy to see why it's considered the pearl of the Adriatic. The walled city beautifully preserves its medieval architecture and charm. Our tour incorporated the history of the city with a focus on the filming locations of the show and a bit of show trivia. Here are some of our favorite recreations. Can you say you've sat on the Iron Throne? I should point out that cruise ships do not dock in the Old City. Rather, they dock just outside. An Uber to the Old City is quick and inexpensive. Koper was another pleasant surprise. We spent the morning in Old Town seeing Praetorian Palace and DuPont Fountain. The side streets are brimming with antique stores, and we scored several small pieces to bring home. In the afternoon, we went on a guided tour of Skogen Caves, another UNESCO World Heritage Site. The caves, located approximately 30 minutes outside the city, are known for their vast underground chambers, roaring underground river, and stunning limestone formations. Unfortunately, we were not allowed to take photos inside. We only realized how deep underground we traveled when we had to take a cable car back up to the top. Our final port of call was Trieste, as cruise ships are no longer allowed to dock in the Grand Lagoon of Venice. Norwegian transported us via coach to the outskirts of Venice, then we had to travel by a ferry to get to the city. Aside from the rainy morning in Corfu, we'd been blessed with gorgeous weather, but on our final day the torrential downpour was relentless. Armed with ponchos, we sought out a cafe with availability and had an extended lunch until there was a temporary break in the rain. Then it was a sprint to see Piazza San Marco, including St. Mark's Basilica and Doge's Palace, the Rialto Bridge, and the Bridge of Sighs. Once we checked these off our list, the teens, who were drooling over the store displays the entire time, got to do a little shopping. Now everyone was happy. Though our time was limited, I'm so pleased we got to see Venice. The architecture, the gondolas, the lagoons and canals, it was everything I'd imagined. Chasing a stray curl, I dropped my sunglasses in the canal. I like to think of it as leaving a piece of me in Venice. Much too soon, it was time for the very long journey back to the ship. This entire experience was exceptional. We still talk about some of the things we saw and did, and so do the teens. If you're on the fence about a vacation of this magnitude, my advice is go for it. Choose memories over things every time. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to hear more about our experience on the ship. The Gem will be sailing Bermuda in May, summer 2024, but this itinerary, or very similar, is available on the Pearl and Getaway. As a full-service travel agent with Family Travel Adventures LLC, who partners with the best suppliers in the industry, I am happy to book this or any other type of vacation you envision. Let's chat. Bye for now.